So the mainstream media called out for trying to bury the Hunter Biden scandal, the university student who confronted a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. He's live next on Cross Country. Don't go anywhere.
Do you think the media acted inappropriately when they instantly dismissed Hunter Biden's laptop as Russian disinformation?
My problem with Hunter Biden's laptop is I think it's totally irrelevant. I mean, it's not whether it's disinformation or, I mean, I don't think the Hunter Biden's business relationships have anything to do with who should be president of the United States. So I don't find it to be interesting.
It's not interesting. As the mainstream media faces a reckoning over the Hunter Biden laptop story, I'm joined by Daniel Schmidt. He's a University of Chicago student who you just heard, question a journalist over their Hunter Biden coverage. Brother, I'm so proud of you. You went there, you did the job that other reporters should be doing. What made you ask that question?
Thank you, Lawrence, for having me. I want to just establish where we are right now, actually, before I answer that question. Thinker Chicago, the Twitter account of the publication I write for, has been blocked by Anna Applebaum. She has blocked us for asking that question, just to sort of set the scene. But why did I ask that question? Well, this was at a conference called Disinformation and the Erosion of Democracy. And I figured no other story has been as impacted by disinformation as the Hunter Biden laptop story. We've been told for months this was a product of Russian disinfo. It's not real. Voters shouldn't realize. And when I was looking into Anna Applebaum, I noticed months ago, she said voters shouldn't care about it. It doesn't matter. Well, wait a second. Is it needed? Is it relevant, or should we cover it up? It doesn't make any sense. And so I asked her a very simple question. Was it inappropriate for the media to cover it up? And in response, she said, I don't care. That's my answer. And it seemed like a total non-answer. And just days later, she has totally blocked us on social media.
Yeah, and she's not the only one trying to block you. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic essentially called you guys propagandists, saying that you guys were spewing disinformation.
Yeah, at the very end of the conference, right when they were wrapping up, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic said that there is this disinformation campaign because of this conference. He didn't name us by name, but obviously he was referring to us. And we find that very ridiculous because we simply asked questions, we got answers, and then we posted it online. And it just so happened that both clips, one in which I asked Anna Applebaum, and then another in which my friend Christopher Phillips asked Brian Stelter, they both went very viral. And apparently that is disinformation. And so The Atlantic is accusing a bunch of college kids who are just doing this out of passion of spreading disinformation. Not the people who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop, but college kids who just ask very basic questions.
You know what, Daniel? You're just not a college kid. The reason why it's going viral is because there's a thirst for the truth. And I'm sure many people in our audience are saying, what's next for Daniel?
Well, what's next? Well, you can follow me at RealDSchmidt on Twitter. I write for the Chicago Thinker, which is thechicagothinker.com. Our job is to sort of just ask the questions that aren't asked. We find a lot of college kids are not asking tough questions. There's so many great university events at prestigious universities in which prominent speakers come, and kids just ask very easy questions. They essentially worship them. And so we're here to ask the tough questions, to get to the chase, and really just see, can they stand up to college kids? Because our journalism class nowadays is not doing the job they should be doing.
Bravo, Daniel. Bravo. When I ran campus reform, you were the correspondent that I needed. You're the one. Good luck with everything, Daniel. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Thank you for having me.
New York Post columnist Miranda Devine broke the Hunter Biden laptop story. She's also the author of The Laptop from Hell, and she joins me right now. Miranda, you just heard that young man ask the same questions that you've been asking. You are at the front of this. Do you feel vindicated, or do you think they're going to continue to bury this story?
No, there's no vindication. I mean, it's just ridiculous that they're catching up. But look, that young student, what a fantastic kid. And I think he's representative of a lot of Gen Z kids who are, they're throwing off the shackles. They're not going to just suck up to the establishment like the millennials did. They're true rebels. So I think it's just a wonderful thing that they will save. They're saving the world.
You're so right about that. Miranda, you have broken down this story so much over the past year for our audience, but what do you think we're missing? What is the one thing that we actually don't know about? Because there's been a lot of focus on Hunter, but now we're starting to hear about the brother.
Yes, look, I think the most important thing that we don't know enough about is Joe Biden's interaction with this family influence peddling scheme. We have little glimmers from the laptop. We know that Joe Biden met with numerous of Hunter's business partners. We know that Hunter gave his father paid for various bills of his. We know they had shared bank accounts. Their money was very much mingled. They had a shared credit card and so on. And we also know, as you said, Jim Biden, which is Hunter's uncle, Joe Biden's younger brother, he was also involved, particularly in the Chinese deals. And he is also facing his own investigation, his own separate probe, which we haven't heard a lot about. But it seems to me that that grand jury in Delaware is pulling on the threads of all of Hunter Biden's deals. And when you do pull on the threads, you end up with Joe Biden. And there's one tantalizing question that we know has been asked in the grand jury, and that is, who is the big guy? Mm-hmm. And as we know from Tony Bobulinski and several instances on Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop, the big guy is Joe Biden. So that really should be sending warning lights going at the White House. But curiously, we saw Ron Klain appear on television, on ABC television with George Stephanopoulos last weekend. And instead of saying he couldn't comment about this ongoing investigation, which is the most prudent thing to do, he actually made a comment that the president is confident that his son and his brother Jim Biden are innocent, and also that this had nothing to do with Joe Biden. Both those things, Joe Biden is the boss of Merrick Garland, who's the Attorney General, who is the boss of the US Attorney in Delaware, who's running this investigation. Both those comments from Ron Klain would seem to put a chill on that investigation.
I thought they were going to return back to the norms and, leave the Justice Department alone. It doesn't sound like it. Miranda Devine, thanks so much for joining me.